Well, we gave old Milo an audition on the episode when Shags was still back home, and he did good enough to get a rave review from one Mr. Bobby Whitehead. So I figured if he could do okay for 20 minutes, let's put him on the hot seat, see how he holds up after an hour. We're going to talk some fishing, some Milo tide flies, and getting excited for the boundary waters. I'm Brandon Butler.
I'm Nathan Shags McLeod,
I'm rmiloshewski.
and welcome to the Driftwood Outdoors podcast. We were all talking about it before we started recording, but we're all kind of battling a sinus infection slash head cold. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you see the mute icon come out and suddenly I'm reaching for toilet paper and going to blow my nose, or we're all hacking and wheezing and coughing, it's going around. 'Tis the season.
Yeah, I've never been one to have allergies before, and people have been trying to maybe sell me on the idea that I have allergies, and I just think it was some kind of sinus infection, cold. But man, I've been under the weather with it. I'm starting to feel better today, and I know Savannah had been struggling, and she was back at work. Happy late birthday. I don't know if she told you what they did to her office yet, or did you get a
I
picture?
saw the I saw the video,
Which was
yes.
super cute and nice until they all spent the next hour popping every balloon. So it sounded like we had, gunfire in the building for an hour.
They filled her
But
office with balloons, Milo.
yeah,
So it's a very, and then Duke, our black lab, showed up, and apparently he was pretty scared. He didn't know what to do with the balloons, and then he accidentally popped one, and then jumped and landed on another one and popped one, and I guess it was quite the traumatic experience for the
dude,
poor guy.
he came across the hall and did like a romantic leap into my arms.
Terrified. That's funny.
He did a little dirty dancing, huh?
Yeah.
Jumped midair, he caught him mid-flight.
He was spooked for sure. So,
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
well, man, I'm stressing out. This is the Missouri legislative session, so a little political talk, but not in a judgmental political talk, just kind of the way politics happen. The Missouri state budget had to be submitted by the legislature in the middle of May. They did their job, got it done. It's gone to the governor's desk now, and instead of signing it, he's called for a special session. So now the legislators have to go back to Jefferson City, and I guess the main topic they're talking about is the deal for the Chiefs and the Royals. So this is what the callback is for. And man, I'm a little torn on this. I have skin in the game. I have money in the budget for Retrieving Freedom, like many people who are like wondering now, is my money going to get cut to help fund this deal for the Chiefs and the Royals? And that's what it's really coming down to, is where's the money going to come from to pay for a big part of these stadiums? So it's pretty spooky thinking that. And on one hand, I know what it means to have the Chiefs and the Royals in Missouri, even if they're that close to the border. I'm interested in getting Milo's take on this as somebody living in Kansas City, but the economic base, which is arguable. If you go to like Arrowhead, the stadium's okay, but the area around it's a little rough. So I wouldn't say like Arrowhead is blowing up the economy of the immediacy around the stadium. So I do get the importance of keeping them in Missouri, but at the same time, it's like a seat at a game is $250.
For
Now you
nosebleed.
want me to buy your stadium too? Like, what are you talking about here?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna prioritize a sports stadium and subsidizing billionaires and multimillionaires over all these human services that we could put in play. Or maybe the kids in Fayette could go to school 5 days a week if we allocated enough money to that district.
How dare you want billionaires to buy their own stadium? Jeez,
Right.
Brandon.
So interested in your guys' take on this. Milo, you're in Kansas City. What's the talk like over there? What are people worried about this?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I just this morning, it came out that one of the players for the Royals bought a mortgage on the old Sprint campus down on 119th and Knoll in Overland Park. So, yeah, a lot of people in the city are kind of like, man, this is kind of moving forward. Now, who knows if it's a bluff or whatever, but yeah, it's definitely the talk of the town. And you're right. I mean, the stadium is basically in Raytona Beach, and it's not exactly great. But I don't know. Being from Missouri and being so close to Kansas, to where I could look out my window and see Kansas, I I just have a disdain for Kansas. Just it just
Do you have a disdain for Kansas?
Yeah,
Yes,
Kansas.
got to.
Yes.
I mean, okay. There are people whose families go all the way back to the Jayhawker days and the border war and all that.
It's mine. Yeah, my great.
Then you have skin in the game. I also
Yeah.
have family that fought on both sides of the Civil War, and I'm not mad at anybody anymore over
No, I mean,
and I don't have Kansas gets shit on so much by everyone driving to Colorado. And I think Kansas is beautiful. I love the wide open spaces. I love the Flint Hills, the largest stand of tall grass prairie left in the country. There's prairie chickens. The deer hunting is second to none. The turkey hunting, the waterfowl hunting. There's so much good fishing. Kansas is arguably one of the best sportsman states in America.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I just don't like the people from Johnson County. So
that's how I feel about Illinois.
Yeah, they're just a pain in the ass, and I just
so
that's why I say that.
I think I could live with it. I mean, I'm a Bears fan to begin with, so it's not really fair. I like the Chiefs a lot. Shags, you're showing very much disdain.
No, I mean, you can have the Royals, but don't take the Chiefs away from us. Like, come on now. And I understand that is, but I like it right there on I-70, especially if you tailgate. The parking lot's huge. I mean, to getting in and out of a stadium, it's actually pretty easy when it comes to other stadiums that you go to, and especially when it's like downtown and it's going to take you 2 hours just to leave a game. Like even going to a Cardinals game, trying to leave Busch Stadium can be chaos trying to get out of the downtown area. And I know they've mentioned trying to get the Royal Stadium moved down in the Power and Light District, like move it downtown. And fine, whatever. I mean, just don't take the Chiefs. Like I can't root for the Kansas City Chiefs. Like gross.
But nobody will ever say that. It'll be the Kansas City Chiefs.
We'll all know. It will taint the stadium. It will taint the team. It would just be unfortunate to lose it to, of all places, Kansas.
But didn't they taint the stadium when they named it after an acronym to begin with?
True.
Like, what is it? It's like GRH.
Oh no, that's actually an insurance company.
Yeah.
But
GHE or whatever it is.
It would be the equivalent of the Cardinals moving to Edwardsville.
For $900 million, bye.
I
don't still watch you on TV.
Taxpayers have it, especially like the entire state, and like people in St. Louis are going to be funding the stadium if it passes. If they go the tax route, which I think is ridiculous. Clark Hunt he could write a check right now for the stadium. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, don't take our money.
I see his daughter's Instagrams. Sorry. What'd you say?
So that's not how the NFL works.
Oh.
The owners don't want to pay for anything. Are you kidding me?
I said I saw his daughter's Instagram. I know what kind of money she's spending. She could buy the stadium.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, leave us out of it.
No, the middle class taxpayers should buy the stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the people that are like down in the boot heel who could give a shit about Kansas City should go to work every day to fund the stadium so whatever her name, Hunt, can go hang out with Paris Hilton and Taylor Swift and they can all laugh at the guys, working outside every day in the heat, giving their money to buy their stadium.
Ridiculous.
America.
Yeah, it'd be a sad day to be a Chiefs fan to see him cross over that border, in my opinion. Just take the Royals. Can we just do that? Like, you can have the Royals. We'll keep the Chiefs.
But would you agree then, though, this wouldn't be as bad as the Rams moving to LA? I mean, that takes them to another part of the world. They're completely disassociated. We're talking about the Chiefs living next door.
Yeah. Rams moving back to LA that's way worse.
Well, yeah, Kroenke pulled a cronky move on that though, like a night train, like tanked the team,
Oh, yeah.
blamed the fans, and left. And that guy's a scumbag.
For sure.
But-
So this would not be as bad, you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was never a Rams fan, so
I don't think so. I don't think it'd be as bad.
well, what do you think about the Bears? What if the Bears moved?
Yeah.
Oh, that's been going on. There's been talk about it. It's been very much in the news. In fact, they bought property out in Arlington Heights. And, it's on one hand, I don't have going to NFL football game money. So I mean, how many times in my life would it really bother me? The difference there is Soldier Field is on the lakeshore. It's right on Lake Michigan. So if they move to like the north side of the state, I would love for them to come to Indiana. There was talk about them coming to Gary. Like they were going to demolish a bunch of Gary and put the Bears stadium right there on the lake in Gary. Huge, economic package. But of course they stayed. So I honestly could live with it. I like the fact that it's Soldier Field. I like
what
the
if they
fact that
moved
it's
to
right
Wisconsin though? Like it's not the same thing to like move just in a different part of the city. They're talking about jumping a border.
That's true. Like I said, though, if I was in Indiana where I grew up, I'd be real happy if they jumped the border and became the Indiana Bears.
Gosh.
I don't know. I hear you, but I don't understand. I don't understand the argument for so much economic impact when you look at the area around the stadium currently not being impacted. Do people get hotels and go downtown and go to Power and Light? Sure, and that's great. But I don't feel as a taxpayer really obligated to pay for that.
No.
So
I agree with that.
All right, well, let's talk some outdoors. We've done 12 minutes of sports.
Milo's a fly tire. That's what I wanted to talk to him about. So we got to give Milo the platform. In all fairness, I think fly tying should just be one step towards Milo owning his own fly shop. At least he's taken that step. So
Agreed.
Tell us how you got into that, man.
Oh man, well I've been fly fishing and tying since I was 10 years old in my grandpa's basement. Now what I was tying then is jigs or something simple, egg flies, stuff like that. They doesn't really require a lot of skill, and kind of got out of it for a while, and then I don't know, about 10 years ago got back into it, and from there just took off. I had a lot of good people here at K&K Fly Shop that's now closed and is miserable because of it. A lot of great mentors there: Mike George, Kevin himself, Brad Kellerman, a lot of people that just really were good at fly tying and doing complex stuff. And I just go up there, spend a few hours, and learn from them. Mike George, if you don't know Mike George is, you should look him up. His deer hair stuff, it's incredible. Just really being around that, and then progressively getting better, watching YouTube videos, reading articles, just trying to be better. And I finally got to a point where people that I know are good fly tires are like, man, your stuff's good. Like, it's just as good as mine. And, you don't think that, but, here we are. I'm finally decided to do it. I'm just about done with my website. So, it was kind of a whirlwind over the last year or so.
I saw the ones that you posted today, and that's pretty impressive stuff. Would you call those sliders?
Those are actually called drunken disorderlies.
Well, that's their name, but
yeah,
the type of fly, it looks to me like it would be a surface fly. You strip it, it goes under the water, pops back up. Is that?
Yeah, no, it doesn't float because you're using a sink tip with it generally. Now, if you didn't use a sink tip, it'd probably stay a little buoyant. But the idea of the streamer, Tommy Lynch designed it years ago. The idea is it mimics a jerkbait, and because you got that wedge head it's all packed deer hair, and when you strip it or give it action, it kind of darts back and forth just like a jerkbait. So it's essentially the bill of the fly. So
yeah, I call a fly like that a slider.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. It's probably overarching category. Yeah,
Hmm. And you're tying those for trout, or are those a smallmouth
both,
fly?
both. I mean, I generally tie for trout. Um, Smallmouth, I leave that to Ryan Walker. He's got that one on lock.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally trout. Or I've just had a guy from Hawaii ask me about some saltwater flies, so now I got to figure out where the hell to find saltwater hooks since Kevin's not open anymore. So,
Amazon, man. I tried to teach
yeah,
my dad how to use Amazon when he was at my house a couple weeks ago. You know, I was trying to tell him it's hard to go to the store when you live this far out, but if you get patient enough to wait 2 days, you can have anything here. And then he tried hitting me with the whole he'd rather um, shop at a store where they still have people checking you out. I said, well, then show me the store because I had that philosophy too for a long time. And now you go in anywhere and it's the self-scan checkout things. And I said, Dad, it's actually kind of better because now those people, they still have jobs. They're just in warehouses and you don't have to see them. So it
yeah,
just worked out better for everyone.
yeah.
So
Yeah, the problem with Amazon is they don't have anything that ships quick. Honestly, Lily's is the best right now. They have pretty much everything I need, and they usually turn around in 3 days. So I'll just
what brand do you tie with?
for what? I mean, I use a lot. There's a lot of brands. Vice, I have a Peak Rotary Vice. I mean, I use a lot.
No, your hooks. We were talking about hooks.
Oh, hooks. Oh, I usually like for the big streamers, Gamakatsu B10S. Those are probably the best. They're kind of skinny wire, so they don't have a lot of bulk, but they're really strong. Um, there's some cheaper ones like Daiichi's and Mustad, but I don't know the B10S. Of course, they're the most expensive. Really just work that, and Montana Fly Company just came out with a streamer hook that has a vertical eye instead of a horizontal eye, which is kind of a game changer for tying streamers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really there's no such thing as crowding the head anymore. Because sometimes when you're tying a big streamer, you get left with about that much space to tie in, 10 pounds of crap, and you can pack it in. So BT or Gamakatsu and Montana Fly Company right now are the big ones for the streamers.
Right on. I always used Mustad, but
They're fine. Yeah, they work just fine.
yeah. What's your fly company called?
I mean, I just named it Milo's Flies. There was no real
Keeping
creativity.
it simple.
Yeah, I mean, I can tie the flies. I'm not creative in that. I can tie the flies and I can write articles, and other than that, I'm pretty much useless. But I do have a email out to a couple folks for logos and just some ideas. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Milo's Flies, and like I said, I'm getting the website almost done, and got Facebook and Instagram, and I've actually sold quite a bit of flies from Instagram. So, which is I don't know, seems like it was kind of a dying app unless you're selling something on there. So,
So I'm going to do a tip for you, Milo, and this is kind
uh,
of a small business rant a little bit. So in preparation of this Boundary Waters trip, my buddy Scott, who's putting it all together, gave us some suggested items to buy, and he gave us this little bungee company that you can wrap it around things, hold your rods together, hold your rod to the canoe rails.
hmm,
You can go to Harbor Freight and buy 100 of them for $10, or you can get on Amazon and do the same thing. But these ones were from a little small business up there in the Boundary Waters, little outdoor shop.
yep,
And instead of being, a hundred for $10, these ones are $250 a piece.
yep,
And I thought, you know what, man, I don't care. I'm gonna pay it. I'm gonna buy I'm gonna buy the 16 pack for like $40 plus shipping, and I'm gonna feel good about supporting this Boundary Waters
yep.
company, and good for them. They're trying to be innovative. So I get my package in the mail, and this is honestly what the envelope looked like. It was split completely in the middle,
That's
open on the end, just 100% ripped up. And then this was the packaging. They threw them in a Ziploc bag. There's no invoice, there's no note, There's nothing that makes me feel like anything but a sucker for
Yeah.
paying $2.50 for 20 cents worth of product.
Yeah,
Like
that's
all they had to do to make me want to tell you guys like good things about this was package them nice. Put a little note in there, a little, handwritten thank you, some Etsy bullshit for men. Like,
that's what
and
I do. I
like,
honestly, that's what I do.
Put a chocolate on the man's pillow, will ya?
for God's sakes, for for 1,000 times the value of the
Yeah,
product, I'm all I want is to make me feel good about overspending to support somebody that's actually putting a little effort into something
Yeah.
and maybe living a dream. I'm happy to support.
Yep.
But when you just take that shit and throw it in a Ziploc bag and mail it the cheapest way possible and it's shredded in my mailbox,
Yeah.
you might as well have traced your middle finger on a piece of paper and put that in there too and sent it to me.
Go to Harbor Freight next time. Quit
Dude.
me.
And that's back to my point about Amazon. It's like, you
Yeah.
know what? I tried. It doesn't work. I'm gonna start doing what's best for me.
No, it's
Get
true,
that
though.
Harbor Freight bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, like when I'll order, handmade stuff from companies, especially a lot of duck hunting stuff. That's way more expensive than you'd get at Rogers or wherever, Max. But the Harrell and Sons is a company out of Arkansas. It's just a family, and they hand sew these vests, these wading vests, and it's like one of the greatest things I've ever purchased for duck hunting. I mean, I carry all my shit in there as shell pockets, 25 shell pockets, everything, and it's $170 I think for one, but they give you a handwritten note, and I reached out to them when I had an issue with it fraying, and they fixed it. And they act, like you said, they act like they give a shit, and it's like, oh
Man,
well.
they could take a piece of printer paper and split it 4 ways, and on each piece of printer paper, they could print the same thing. That's just like a fact about the boundary waters, and then roll these things up in a piece of wax paper or something that makes me feel like I'm part of something cool.
Yeah.
Instead of hey, look at this sucker. He bought 16 of these things. Hurry, order them off of Alibaba, throw them in a Ziploc bag, and get the shittiest envelope you can get and mail them to this moron.
Make sure you rip it.
Who's willing to pay $2.50 for a 20-cent product?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So send a note with your flies when you ship them. With your
I do.
shipping
I
of
send
your
a
flies.
thank you note and a decal or a sticker to everybody, and
Exactly.
it's like just this is what you do, right? It's
you better tongue kiss every one of those flies before they go in the
yeah.
bag.
Don't
man.
Don't
Made
mind
with love.
Oh God.
Well, hey, while we're laughing, talking about flies, going into a little harder subject on a happier note though, let's talk about Chuck. We haven't talked much about Chuck. You two are both closer with him than I was. I got to fish with him some and had some great times on the water with him. Milo, I know you ended up getting real close to the guy, and I honestly think you should be his successor down there on Taneycomo, running.
Yeah.
You should be the boss like Chuck was of that upper fly water. So
yeah, I thought about it. I talked to Lynn about it, within the couple months here, but yeah, we'll see. I just I don't know. I don't think it's
God's keeping you single for a reason, man. It's because he
right.
just wants you to fish, like just fish and fish and fish.
It's certainly not my taste in women.
And then once you complete that path, then he'll bring you. The right woman will be in your guide boat someday.
That would be nice. Yeah. No, Chuck was great. I did get really close to him. He was a good friend. Taught me a hell of a lot about fly fishing and fly tying. I know I certainly wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Chuck and others like him. Sucked. Cancer sucks. I mean, Shags, when I went and saw him about a week before he died, and that was rough. And but it was nice to give him one last thank you. Told him I loved him and thanked him for everything he did for me. So
I think he appreciated it. His family did too. It was a neat group of people sitting around and telling fishing stories, and you could just see it on his face. He definitely appreciated And I gotta give him credit. Like didn't want to fly fish at all, and then he got me fly curious, and then the more I hung out with him, I became full blown fly.
Yeah.
And it was always cool to get random texts from him, and anytime I was down there, just stop in the shop and visit. And one of my fondest memories is when we were down there for POMA, and I was supposed to be part of the outdoor media group, and I kept sneaking off because it was right there next to Taneycomo. And I swung into the shop to ask Chuck or ask Lynn what they were biting on, because I was striking out up at the dam wade fishing. And Chuck was just like, well, yeah, I don't really have anything going. And Lynn's like, just go with them and go fish. And I got like a free day of just Chuck and I wade fishing out there, and him sight fishing for these big trout on their beds. And man, I'm 6'8", and I like to think that I can look down at the water and like see fish. That guy somehow would just be like, do you see that out there? He was a freak when it came to spotting fish in the water.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, you see that one there? You see its tail? That one that's behind it by about 10 feet right next to that moss and that rock. And I'm like, gotta be honest, Chuck, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's not a chance in hell I could see that. So,
but it was so funny. On that trip, I lost, like, at the net, probably the biggest rainbow of my life. It was a giant. And he was like, sometimes the fish win. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. Yep. I probably should have scooped a little bit faster, but I didn't want to rush it, and it just got off. And then he goes and spots another one, and we fish for that, and I end up hooking that one in the back. And it's going crazy, jumping out of the water, and there's a woman next to us just going like, oh, that's such a big fish. Get it. And I'm like, it doesn't count. And she's like, what do you mean it totally counts? And Chuck leans in and goes, you know that doesn't count because I don't have him hooked in the mouth. I was like, yes, Chuck, I know it doesn't count. I just screamed it at that woman. I just want to pop this fly off. I don't even want to fight this fish anymore. But I got a lot of fond memories of like Chuck teaching Savannah how to fly fish. Like I spent a lot of time on the water with that guy, and he's going to be missed for sure.
Yeah. I ended up over the last few years, not this year or last year because he had the cancer, but for about 4 years in a row, I would book him for my birthday. And I'd make him fish. I mean, we turned it into a competition, and let me tell you, the first year he whipped my ass. And like he was, you could tell, like, you know how mild-mannered he was, but like you could tell he wanted to just bury me, and he buried me. And I was like, man, I suck. And then finally, the last time we did it, I did beat him. But oh yeah, first time, man, he just I think it was like 36 to like 15 or something. Fish hooked, but yeah, he was great. He was one of the best, one of the good ones. They've owned that shop for over 30 years now, and Lynn's still running it. I was down there a couple weeks ago, and she's still there. So
I was just going to ask you that: is the shop still open? Then still keeping it going?
Yep, for now. So we'll see. Enter me, maybe.
It's going to be a weird summer down on Taneycomo this year. I mean, with Chuck passing, and then we have our good friends Blake Harris and Dwayne Doty going to Alaska here in July and spending the whole summer up there. I mean, it's going to be a whole different lake of the people we're all used to fishing with and hanging out with. I mean, we still got Blake Wilson down there and a couple other ones, but not that.
Well, I wonder if she's already contracting with some guides, but if not, that's a hell of an opportunity for someone to go talk to Lynn and say, I don't know who you're using as a contracted guide service, but I'd love to be the shop's guide, you know?
Yeah. I don't even know what they did with Chuck's boat. I don't know, they still have it or what.
Oh, she probably still does.
I would assume, but yeah.
I always liked how he kissed fish, man. Like, he took
everyone.
I fished with them the first CFM media event year, which would have been 2015. And I had my daughter Annabelle there, and she just kept going, ew, oh, he kept kissing the fish. And and I liked how he would always say, you didn't want that one?
Didn't want that one.
Didn't want that one? So,
yeah. He
very subtle, like, haha. Right?
Yeah. Yep. He would do that to me and everybody constantly. And it's like...
It got to the point that if he just even like sounded like he was going to say something, I'd set the hook. Just set the hook just to be safe. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. I was fishing. We were fishing for big browns one early September, and he could see the damn flies. Like a size 16, size 18 scud, he could see them damn things underwater. He wouldn't look at the indicator. He would just look at the flies. Like I don't know. I asked him one time. I was like, "What super freak vision did you get? Like, did you get bit by something?" But he could see the damn scuds. And anyway, a pretty nice brown took the scuds. I had no indicator, didn't move. I didn't see it. And he's like, "Set it, get him, get him, get him!" And I went to set the hook, and I missed him. And I was like, "Oh, I thought I was on a rock." And he's like, "Rocks don't swim." He's like, "What are you doing?" And yeah, he was a freak, man, in a good way. I mean, he was just, man. Like I said, I've learned so much. Hank, watch out, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, my
Shags,
favorite.
how are your eyes doing?
I'm doing
Hank?
all right.
You're a year older than me, and everyone says your eyes start to go in your early 40s.
I'm starting to notice it now. Like I find myself like moving stuff farther out so I can read it, and like trying to tie like line on super small, super thin,
Getting the tip of the
flies.
line through.
Yeah, like that. I don't even fish with any tiny midges or anything because I don't want the frustration, and I haven't broke down yet to get like the cheaters to that break loose, and then you got to pop them back on your nose to see that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really starting to struggle reading things close as well. Like I feel like the way you're saying Chuck was with fish, I'm that way with deer. I feel like I can spot a deer's ear twitch at 1,000 yards through brush, but I can't read something a foot away from my face very well anymore. So I went to Walmart and stood there in the pharmacy aisle like an old man, and I had there's all these different levels of cheaters, and then you got to read the letters, but the strongest ones were bad. I mean, super blurry. And I went all the way down to the lowest ones, and it wasn't any better than my eyes off. So I don't know if it's low light conditions, because I went to the eye doctor too, and the eye doctor said, "No, your eyes are still good. I can read those letters." But I don't know if when I'm laying in bed at night trying to read something, it just all just blurs together.
Yeah, getting old's a lot of fun.
You got glasses, Milo?
I don't have contacts. My eyes are screwed. They've been screwed up for years, 20 years or so.
So it became a thing in your life? You weren't born that way?
No, it was about, I guess, probably 8th grade. Kind of the proverbial sitting in the classroom, can't read the chalkboard type shit. And progressively getting worse. Not like terrible, but just each year it's like, oh, got to go up another power. And
so when you were in 5th grade, you could read the chalkboard.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they just went bad that quick.
Yeah, I don't know if it's genetic or what. Like my mom's side, that's kind of like how everybody in that side of the family went. Not everybody, but mostly everybody. Where you get to a certain age and eyes start to go.
Yeah, mine are. It's weird how it happens because it's very noticeable.
Yeah, it sucks. If I don't have contacts, I'm blind. And also, I got punched in the eye when I was a kid. And
Nuh-uh. You? No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. Shocking is such a delight as I am. And I never went to the doctor, but there's something going on to like if I start reading something close and focus, my right eye will go lazy. So I don't know what muscle got detached or screwed up, but yeah.
We can get you a patch.
You got a little wonk to it. It's a little wonky on you.
Yeah.
Some pirate patches are
like,
cool, man.
What's the dude from Mr. Deed? Steve Buscemi's character. Crazy ass. Yeah. Hey, can you please move, bud? Come on, go.
Another thing, going back to old Chuck, and I've said it on this podcast a bunch, but I still use it to this day, like sight fishing for bigger fish. The analogy of the potato chip. I always thought that was so brilliant. Of it, if you get that scud, if you get that bug, and you get the right float, that they'll eat it. It's kind of like the potato chip. If you're sitting on a couch watching the football game and someone from the kitchen goes, "Do you want a potato chip?" nah, I'm not going to get up and get it. I'm doing something. But if that person walks into the living room and puts that potato chip right in front of your mouth, you're going to probably open your mouth and eat that potato chip.
Yep.
And I just love that analogy. He's like, we're going to put that scud, that's our potato chip. We're going to put that thing right in its mouth, and it will open it, and it will not pass. Very rarely will they pass on a free meal coming right towards them. And I've had such good success doing that on not only on Taneycomo, but other streams of if you're lucky enough to spot one out there and you keep going and going and going and you get that right drift and that right float and that right sink and it's right there, they will most of the time open their mouth and suck it in.
Yep. Yeah.
One of the things that's so cool about having a mentor like Chuck on a tailwater as prominent as Taneycomo is it's not necessarily true that a tailwater is a tailwater is a tailwater, but kind of. They very much fish alike. And if you can learn how to fish scuds and you can learn how to fish really small flies, then you can apply that. If you go out to the Missouri and Montana, you can apply that below the dam. If you go down to the White in Arkansas, you can apply that below the dam. So whatever your water is, there are other waters in the country that look like that. Upper Current River, there's a lot of wild western rivers.
San Juan's a good example in New Mexico.
Yeah, so if you were to go down and hire, say you're one of the people that was lucky enough to be a regular guide of Chuck's, take that knowledge on the road. Go check out some other tailwaters, and you'll be surprised at how similar they are. And vice versa. If you're somebody from elsewhere listening to this and you're like, where the hell is Taneycomo? Check it out. It's definitely worth coming and fishing. And if you know how to fish a tailwater, if you know what flies typically work at your tailwater, they're probably going to work okay here too.
Yep. That is
and then you can buy the ones from Milo that you really need.
Right. Yeah.
Now I'm going to have to start buying them from you, Milo.
Yeah.
Not me, dude. I got the hookup on this like export import thing. I'll get them 12 for 99 cents. Sorry, Milo.
Yeah. That's I thought
chocolate.
There's some 8-year-old kid tying my flies in Bangladesh, and I'm good with it.
So you're that pissed about the bungee cord company? Jesus.
Yeah.
See, they're pretending to be something else.
Golly,
they're pretending.
Kinda.
That little 8-year-old kid over there will send me a note with my flies, probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Some sweatshop. Thailand.
I would not buy sweatshop flies. I'm just joking.
I know.
Milo actually sent me some stroke flies after my stroke.
Did it only articulate on one side?
Yeah,
only half the fly worked.
No, what I did
Pin the left arm to the body.
No, what I did was, it's kind of dark. It's my dark humor, but Shags had the stroke, and then Dave Whitlock. You guys know who Dave Whitlock is, right?
Yeah.
Fly fishing legend. He had a stroke, and he ended up dying, so I kind of felt bad, but he had a stroke. So what I did was I had a bunch of Dave Whitlock dubbing, so I tied scuds out of Whitlock dubbing and sent them to Shags and stroke scuds. So, do you ever catch anything on those?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I just enjoyed the packaging, just the Shag stroke flies.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Then you sent me money for the cicadas last year, and I believe you wrote, not as nice as mine. I believe you wrote, "Here's your whore money."
That's what you get for sending them flies in a Ziploc bag.
They weren't. They were in a nice little Ziploc baggie, like a dime bag.
Oh man! So that
was funny. I laughed.
I've got moose hair from my Montana moose. I've got squirrel tails, little American red squirrel tails from Maine. I'm gonna send the moose hair to Sergeant Bass Fisher, who's this Joe Jackson's his name. He's a big time deer hair fly tire.
I've seen him.
He's amazing. Good dude. He's Paddle Don's friend. He's becoming a friend of mine too.
Stuff's insane.
And he came to Retrieving Freedom not too long ago. I caught up with him at the Denver fly fishing show. So he's gonna spend me a fly out of some of my moose hair.
That's cool.
Misty Mountain Michael is gonna tie me some flies out of my squirrel tails.
Cool.
And then I shot my turkey in Martha's Vineyard, and one of the waitresses there was saying she and her boyfriend are big fly fisherman and fly tires. And if I'd give her my turkey feathers, she would tie me some flies and send them. So you're next up on my list, man.
Yeah.
Whatever I kill in one of the next states, I'm going to give you part of the animal. And I'm going to start a fly collection.
That's cool.
The rest of these 50 and 50 states.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that'd be good. You know, most marabou's turkey down, right? Turkey down feathers.
I did not know that.
Yep. Almost all marabou that you buy commercially is all just dyed turkey down feathers. Oh, yep. I met a lady that had a taxidermy, back porch taxidermy at the fly fishing expo in Clinton, and she was selling a bunch of turkey down feathers for like really cheap. And I was like, you realize you could sell that as marabou, right? She's like, I don't know what marabou is. I was like, well, let me tell you. So, yeah. So whatever you shoot, let me know. Speaking of fly collections, this is cool. You might like this. I just refound this earlier. This is some of the last flies that Ron Kruger tied.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see some of them, but
how'd you come across those?
Bill Cooper. Old Bill.
Cooper Claus.
Cooper Claus, yeah. He because Ron lived with Bill for a while. I don't know if you remember that time.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
But
many a folk have gone through Bill Cooper's old upstairs bedroom.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, I just found that. I was cleaning up everything, and I was like, oh man, I forgot about Kruger's flies. So yeah, he tied those. I think the summer before he moved on to Eminence, out of Bill's. So
well, I've got hundreds of the jigs that he tied. They're all deer hair jigs, kind of on like a Ned rig head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be happy to give you a big handful of those.
That'd be cool.
So
yeah, Ron was great. He was about the most direct human being I think I've ever met.
Man, one of my huge regrets is not writing down so many of his one-liners. They were incredible.
They were.
And we got to be real close. We took trips together. We fished 11 Point on a trip together. Then when I was building Driftwood Acres in the early stages, he would come out there and he'd work for maybe like, I've got pictures of him sitting down pulling siding, and he would put in a real tough 15 minutes of work, complain about shit for 2 hours, and then have some reason that he needed to leave. But occasionally he would stay. And Ron was sober for a lot of years, but he had been, Ron had really gone to the bottom. When the Hunting and Fishing Journal folded in St. Louis, he moved into a abandoned cabin down by Dora. And he said it was a nice place to live once he shot the rats out of it. And no electricity, no water.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from being an editor of a magazine living in St. Louis to just being like, F it all. And he moved into an abandoned homestead that he knew of out in the forest. So he was a wild man. I asked him one time, I do remember this one-liner pretty clear. I said, Ron, how many kids did you have? He said, somewhere between 12 and 14. I said, okay, how many with your first wife? How many with your second wife? How many with your third wife? How many with your fourth wife? And he said, whatever. And I added it up and I said, Ron, that's just 7. And he looked at me like I was the dumbest person on the planet. And he goes, you don't have to be married to make a baby. I was like, touche, my man. Touche.
Oh, that's great. Oh, man.
And one night he was at my place, and Shags, you stayed at the Acres when the camper was there previous to the building. Oh, you were there when the camper was still down low, but there was already gravel. He was there before there was gravel. I had just gotten a power pole. The camper was like in the dirt where the yard had been cleared. They hadn't even leveled off the spot yet where the cabin was built. And it was in the middle of the summer, and I'd been working my ass off all day, and I was running the air conditioner in my camper. And it was a big, fancy camper. And he got mad. And he's like, turn that goddamn air conditioner off. You're ruining the ambiance of camping. You don't even deserve to call yourself a camper. Blah, 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 blah. And I said, Ron, it's my camper. the air conditioner stays on or you can leave. And he just got up and left. Like, just gone.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, what a Kruger movie.
And then I got even with him because when he died, I was given part of his ashes. And then I left him in the cabin. And when it burned down, he got cremated again. We call him Ron Kruger twice baked.
Oh, that's great. Oh man,
Yeah.
man, I love that dark humor.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was good.
He was special.
I've been turkey hunting with him and fished a Jack's Fork with him, and yeah, he was. I remember.
In all seriousness, like one of the things that I think really defined him, and as I got to know him better, he explained to me, he has a book out there, and I had one copy and it burned up in the cabin. I've yet to find another copy. I've pillaged Bobby Whitehead's library. He swears he has a copy, but I couldn't find it. Ron claims to have died when he was 15 years old in a car
Mahoney
accident.
has that. Mahoney has a copy.
Mahoney has it?
He has a copy, yes.
I search eBay. I'm not even going to say the name of it because I search eBay for it regularly because I want another copy.
Yep.
And he writes this whole book about being in heaven and what it was like and the energy. And he's like, you don't look like a person. You're a ball of energy, but it's so comforting and it's so pleasant. And he's like, and then you move to this larger ball of energy and all this stuff. And he said after that, when he had to come back to life and didn't want to, he's known his whole life where he was going. So he didn't give a shit about money or things or being married to make babies. Like he just did whatever he wanted to do. And
yeah,
so that he claims to have been to the afterlife and came back.
Yeah,
I think I might have found it.
It was like when he was 14 or something, right?
You found it for sale?
I think so.
Dude, you poacher.
A higher good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Google Books.
I'm going to buy it right now. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
I just did a quick.
Email me the link.
I will. I mean, it looks like it's on Thrift Books too. Books by Goodreads. Maybe it's a digital copy.
I doubt it. This is way back before the digital. It's one of those things too. I say he has a daughter who's surprisingly normal. She's pretty great. And I've stayed in touch with her, and we've talked about putting it into print again if it ever could take off, you know.
Yeah.
And his son got his computer, so I don't know if he ever got into his computer or not, but the fact that his files, his photos are just lost to time is horrible. Like that, there's plenty of photos in there to do some photo books and stuff like that. And we had talked about it. I told him like I would help do that stuff, give the money to his kids, you know, just do the work. And
I think I just got fooled by the internet. It's out of stock.
See,
I was about
just
to
like
call
Godfather
Brandon.
4.
I was about to call Brandon a boomer for not being able to Google something, and then now you got boomer too.
It was
Fine.
so real, Milo. I believed it with all my heart.
I know. Yeah.
Rocky was going to be the Godfather.
You better share it on Facebook.
I did stop short of that. So.
Yeah, good.
I shared it on a podcast though, so I'm just dumb.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I does have a copy though. So,
hey, are you going to MOC?
I think I'm going to try and get down there on Saturday. I can't stay long. I got to go to St. Louis, help my mom out. She just got put on oxygen, so I got to go there and help her kind of rearrange some things, and I don't know, just kind of check on her. So, she's still alive.
Well,
you know, cancer's still there, but.
Well, I mean, it's a miracle though, because a couple of years ago you told me she had 6 months. So.
Yeah, and she's probably, you know, what, almost 2.5 years now. Yeah, still alive. So
good.
The treatment stuff's working, but yeah, she just has to get on oxygen. So that's just gonna suck. So, are you guys
Yeah.
both going or no?
I'm going.
Are you?
No, I got work related stuff. I can't go.
I'm gonna fish with Tommy Bench on Sunday. I'm excited about
Nice.
that.
Nice.
Go
Gas
get
tank.
some dinosaurs.
Chase the dinos.
That'd be fun.
I don't know what we're gonna do on Saturday. I put some new wheels on the drift boat. The drift boat's looking sharp. I took it out and cleaned it all up, and it's in the barn now. Got new, the like. I go to Farm and Fleet up in Iowa, which is my favorite store. But the ones that come with the rims and the tire, all like the trailer tires. But I got the silver ones, so they look sharp.
Nice.
So I kind of want to take the drift boat and fish the Big Piney, but it just sounds like a lot of work.
It does. We need to fish that on the current, or current would probably be best, or the 11 point. I'll bring a bunch of streamers down and we can.
Well, the rafts are better. The rafts are definitely better for the current. There's no debating that. Okay. Unless we went down below. If you're down below Eminence, then the drift boat would be fine. But it's super hard to beat the rafts.
Do you have a Smith raft?
Yeah.
The Smith fly.
Yeah. Those are good.
I'm afraid mine's got a hole in it, man. I got to drag it out of the garage and blow it all up because it's one of the chambers is
just call customer service.
Yeah, I hear that's going really well for people.
Everybody, they'll get right back to you.
What a shit show that turned out to be. Well, I'm just glad we got ours because a lot of people paid money and haven't gotten their rafts.
Jeez. Yeah. It's like Sage. Gosh.
What's going on with Sage?
Oh, just ever since COVID, like their warranty time frame's like 6 months or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Gosh, so if you break a tip and you send it in, it's like, oh, okay, well, you won't have a fly rod for, half a year now. So it's like, damn.
I discovered some fishing rods the other day. So in getting ready for this Boundary Waters trip, I was going to try to use this old rod tube that was my grandpa's. That it's old enough that we took it on the trips that I went with him on when I was 10. So I'm sure he had it many years before that. I have no idea how old this rod tube is. Can't use it. It's not long enough. But I got it out of the attic and there was like 10 rods in there. I had totally forgot. The rod I bought the day we went to Bass Pro Shop when I was 12. It's an Uncle Buck crappie stick or crappie rod. I mean, there's a name for it. It's Uncle Buck rod, little casting rod. I remember the Christmas that I got this 2-piece spinning rod. There's a number of them in there, and I can remember what they are and where they're from and what era of life they came from. Some of them are even old. Some of them are his rods that must be 50 years old. Yeah. So now I've got this collection of probably, between me and Lauren, there's 100 fishing rods here. No question about it. But hers are all nice and new and fancy, and mine are not. But I've got probably 30 to 40 old rods. And then you've seen that case, Shags, that my dad made with my grandpa's old reels in it. Mm-hmm. There's at least 20 more up in the attic that are mine, his. I think it'd be neat to, as I think about like little things that we could do to spin off on Driftwood Outdoors, like it'd be fun to do old rod segments. Like I'm going to take this rod and go fish with it and put a reel, match it with a reel and go try to catch a fish on a rod from when I was 8, or, this rod that was my grandpa's. It's from 1960 something. That would be pretty neat.
Would be.
Yeah. I mean, I got corners of our house just full of old antique rods that I've picked up throughout all the years. And if you need, I think I got, how long a tube do you need? How big?
Well, I'm actually using my Black Widow bow case. The tube, it's 7 foot. So it's
okay. So I got plenty of fishing tubes.
Yeah, repurposing my my longbow case to carry fishing rods into the Boundary Waters.
Oh, there you go. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, excited about it.
Yeah,
that's going to be a great trip.
We should record a podcast next week before you guys leave with the whole crew, and then what kind of expectation, and then do one when you come back and see if it lived up to the hype. I think it's going to.
We're so fortunate to have Scott McInthune running this for us. If you go back a few episodes he was on, we talked about it a little bit. It's rare that I get to be on a trip where I don't have anything to do with the planning or, getting ready or taking my own. I mean, we're taking our own gear, but he's handling the renting of the Kevlar canoes. He's got this trip down. It'd be like me and you taking somebody to the Upper Current River. They show up, they get in the boat. We
Yep.
know everything there is to know. It's the equivalent of that. And so today we all got on the horn. We figured out if we bust ass to drive up early Friday, then we can take off Saturday morning into the Boundary Waters instead of Sunday. So Scott knew how to switch the permit. So just by chance of us all communicating today, we actually bought another day in the Boundary Waters. So we'll now go in on Saturday and come out on Thursday. It's going to be amazing.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be sweet. I've been up there. I've never fished it, never had the chance, but should be awesome.
He was cool today. He wanted to talk about, he keeps talking about lake trout, and it's very clear that to Scott, the lake trout is the trophy of the trip. That's what he's interested in, catching one of these big lake trout. He's got the countdown reel. So you go down 30 feet or whatever, and you caught one there. So you have the clicker on and he's telling me to get this and get that. And I said, look, man, I'm just going to level with you. I'm going to be real honest. I don't give a shit about catching a lake trout. I've caught them in Lake Michigan a bunch, and I want to catch enough walleyes to eat. And then I'm just fishing for northern pike and I'll do some smallmouth fishing, but I'm there to see if I can catch northern pike over 40 inches. And he's like, oh man, I'm so glad you said that. He said, I get so bent out of shape when you lower Midwesterners come up here to chase smallmouth. Smallmouth are like the trash fish of the Boundary Waters.
That's funny.
Yeah. So the way we prize our smallmouth down here and talk about them in the streams, and up there it's like,
give a shit. Yeah.
They could give a shit about small. Isn't it funny how different regions are different that way?
Yep.
Man, catching a big old giant lake trout, that would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. I've caught a couple.
Catching a big old toothy mean predator northern. Lake trout are just kind of hanging down there, they're cool, but I don't know. Northern are mean, and I like catching those mean fish.
I'd like to catch a northern on a fly rod. That would be top.
I'm taking a fly rod. I'm gonna take 5 rods. I'm gonna take a medium heavy bait caster, a medium spinning rod, a medium light spinning rod, 8-weight fly rod, and a 7-weight fly rod. So and I want to take the 2 fly rods because one, I just want to have rigged up 4 northerns and have it, steel leader and all that shit, and then have the other one for smallmouth.
Here's what you need: wire bait. This is good stuff. I use it for connections. I'm going to tie you up a big giant fly. This is what you need right here. Wire bite.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's expensive as hell, but yeah, it's just wire. That's why I use that for my streamer connections, just because I know it's not going to break. The fly will fall apart before the sumbitch breaks. So,
have you ever had a brown trout cut your line with their teeth?
Not on a fly rod.
I mean, they've got some teeth, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially if they get big enough, they
they get gnarly teeth in there.
Yeah. No, I don't know fly rod. I have on spinning gear and like dragging a scud or on the Provo rig or something like that, but not on a fly rod, because generally when they hit a big streamer, generally browns are hitting it. They'll hit it head first. So it's kind of the opposite of what you'd think come up behind it. They want to hit it in the head to kill it first. So when they hit it in the head like that, when you get the hook, the way it orients, if you set the hook right and you're not an idiot and you trout set them, the chance of them getting the line is pretty low. So, yeah, never had a brown do it. It's always funny though, you think they come up behind it and eat it, and no, it's they crush that thing in the head to try and kill it. Really is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they're mean. That's why I like picking on the bullies. I like targeting browns. I like targeting northerns. Like they think they're the baddest fish around, and then all of a sudden they got a big piece of curved steel lodged in their head,
Oh,
yanked out of their
yeah.
world to get stared in the face by an alien
Oh,
and
yeah.
thrown back in the water.
I've had some big browns on Taneycomo. Taneycomo is not really known as a big streamer river, and I've been trying to figure it out. I now with the Drunken Disorderlies and a couple other streamers, I finally got to where I can catch them, but it's nowhere near as good as the white. So I don't know if it's the shiner that they have down on the white or what, but just seems like Taneycomo is just.
If you could only fish one of those rivers, like for the rest of your life, you have to pick one.
Shit.
Which one do you pick?
I'm taking Taneycomo because I think it has the chance of, and not even the chance, I think it has a great likelihood of producing a world record brown. Not that the white doesn't, but I don't know. I think.
Do you think it's cheating, the triploids? Is it cheating on the world record?
I don't know. I mean, I've debated this. I don't really care either way. I don't think it's a true dip. It's obviously not a true diploid specimen, but I don't know. I mean, like hybrids are, they're not triploids, but hybrid stripers, but they're sterile. So what do you do with that? And I don't know.
As long as Kansas doesn't get the record.
And the trout in New Zealand, like the current world record, that's a triploid too. That's a
is it?
I'm pretty.
See, I thought the difference there was it was like an ocean fish that came into a harbor or something.
Yeah, I thought it was an ocean.
There's so many different aspects to brown trout fishing. We can catch 12-inch browns in a little creek up in the driftless. That's a brown. The giant slobs out in the Great Lakes, which aren't native to there, but then they go back up into the rivers and you can catch them in the river or out in the lake trolling a big spoon. That's supposed to be compared to these. And then those ones in New Zealand, I want to say they catch them in like a canal or a harbor that is connected to the ocean.
It's kind of like the Cape Cod Canal for stripers, from what I understand.
Are you looking it up, Shags?
Yeah.
And then you've got, Taneycomo, which is like a bathtub that we're growing 40-pound brown trout in, sandwiched between two dams. I'll take the white every day. Taneycomo is great. No offense to all our good friends down there, but the White River is also the first place I ever caught a trout. I just love the scenery of it. I think the White River is amazing.
I love them both. Oh, I didn't tell you guys about the big brown I lost a couple weeks ago down at Taneycomo. It wasn't on a fly; it was on a jerkbait. But then they had the floodgates running. The night before, I got down. It was the last day of turkey season. I got down there and fished for like 2 hours in the evening. Came back in early because I was just beat. Phil was on the dock. And he said, "Hey, Milo, come on over here. We got a big brown." And took it out on that thing. It was like 17 pounds. It was giant. Guy caught it on a Dwayne Doty signature series. Out of a pontoon boat, of course. And I was like, man, all the things have to go right. Anyway, went out the next morning, right across some lilies in the bluff. And first cast of jerkbait, caught a 23-inch rainbow. Second cast, I kind of got where I was dragging upstream a little bit because the bank was kind of an eddy. So I started burning it real fast back to the boat. And I just see this shadow just screaming ass after it. And I was like, oh, man. And it's like a 20, 25-pound brown. And I start working the jerkbait and I stop it. And the thing was so fat, it missed it like 3 times, where like it couldn't turn. Anyway, I had like 2 foot of line out tops at the boat and the thing eats it. And I didn't even set the hook. I just held on essentially. And it's splashing on top. I mean, just a hell of a ruckus. So I jumped down from the deck to grab the net. As soon as I grabbed the net and come over, it lets go and straightened out the treble hook he had. And I was just like, oh man, that was something. I mean, the thing was that far underneath the water trying to eat and creating this. I mean, it was the craziest thing. Biggest trout I've ever had follow me and eat a bait. It was wild.
And that's why you go to Taneycomo.
Exactly.
That can happen. That can happen on any trip.
Oh man, it was one of those things. Like it's almost like buck fever, and you see that big one chasing it, especially that big, and you're just like, oh man, adrenaline. Like, what do I do? And same with the fly. I've had 15 pounders follow the fly, and with the fly, I don't know. It seems like they're almost being territorial. Where like, because you throw in big 6-7 inch articulated streamers. Not that a jerkbait is small, but the way it works in the water, it seems smaller. But you get a big bulkhead deceiver, and every time I've had them follow, they're almost like, all right, get the hell out of here. Let's just escort this all the way away and then come back. And yeah, I mean, but not that it doesn't happen on the white. I mean, it happens a lot on the white and on streamers. But yeah, that was crazy. That was the biggest fish I've ever. That was like the one, probably like not as big, but the one Lauren had on at the CFM deal when you guys were fishing. We were fishing with Dwayne, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, brutal.
Yeah,
It was a salmon.
it was crazy.
It looked like a giant, like what we would chase one of those big Chinook salmon in the spring. It was huge.
The fact that that's scary.
I was telling my kid a story the other day about a time I was actually disappointed in myself because I was at a garage sale between Billings, Montana and Laurel, Montana. I lived in Laurel and I was taking back roads home. And I was at this garage sale and all of a sudden you just hear screeching tires and then a crash and turn around and look. And there's a car 30 feet in the air just spiraling. And this younger guy must have been messing with his phone or messing with something else. He was going probably 60, 70 miles an hour on this back road. The old Ford Bronco in front of him stopped. He couldn't stop, so he sideswiped him, went into a ditch, went all Dukes of Hazzard up into the air, flipping over, and that car slammed to the ground. And I froze. Like I stood there just kind of frozen. And then these women started running at the car, and that like snapped me out of it. And then I ran at the car with them, but I don't know how long I would have sat there frozen until they did that. So I was disappointed that happened. I don't think that is typical of me in a stressful situation. I normally will be quick to react, but the same thing happened when Lauren had that fish on.
Really?
I just stood in the back of the boat, froze. Because I wasn't paying attention, and then you guys were like, "Get out of the water! Get out! It's a big one!" And I'm like, whatever. It's probably a 21-inch brown. It thing comes out of the water, and it did. It looked like a king salmon coming out of the water. And I remember thinking like I should film this. I should do something. And I just stood there like, and watched the whole thing happen. There was plenty of time to get video or get a photo. None of it happened, and I didn't even like wake up out of this like shock until Shags was elbow deep in the water trying to grab a sinking fish.
February.
Yeah. Oh, it was nuts, man. How big and it was just Dwayne and Lauren. I mean, the combo between them. I thought we were gonna have that fish in the boat and take pictures of it for an hour.
Yeah, man.
Could you imagine like her holding that fish as pretty as she is, and like that would have been a cover photo of all cover photo with the snow coming down. Mm-hmm. It would have been amazing.
Because I saw the fish and Brandon was just up there a la-di-da-di-da, still like doopa-doopa-doopa-doopa, and I'm reeling my stuff to get out of the way, and I'm screaming at him, get out of the water, a big fish. And he's like, what? And he looks over and that thing comes straight up out of the water, and he's like, oh man, he tries to reel his in. And oh man, we had that fish in that net twice, and the first time I thought we had it, but it was just so big, it just did a flop and kind of just flopped back out, and it was still on. And then the second time, it was back in there, and that's when I saw that treble hook get hooked on the net, and that's why immediately I started reaching down there because half of it was in the net, half of it wasn't, and I could see that big jerk bait was caught up on the not even the net part, like the metal or wood section of it. And I thought, if I can just grab its tail, force it in that net, and let's get it in the boat. And while I was reaching for it, it ripped that jerk bait out of its mouth and just sunk into the water. But there was a gentleman who caught that fish a month later, because we saw it and we were all texting each other like, did you see that post from Lily's? That's Lauren's fish. That's got to be it. It looked just like it. And what was it?
Even Dwayne said he thought it was it.
25, 26 pounds, something like
25.
that. It was a big one.
Yeah. I think they cut it on a jig too.
And I was actually
What about a jig?
I think they caught it on it. Yeah, he caught it on a jig.
Well, I mean, the state record, 2 pounds off the world record, was caught on pink power bait.
True. Well, no, it was power worm.
It was a power worm.
Isn't a worm bait?
Well, but power bait, you think of like the dough, the doughy stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It still sucks. It was caught on a power worm, but
but the world record in New Zealand was they say it was not a triploid.
Yeah,
so I was wrong on that.
But is it ocean going? Is that harbor that it was caught in connected to the ocean?
This is Argentina, wasn't it?
No, New Zealand.
New Zealand. Oh, the hell am I talking about?
Well, it says they're known for producing large fish both in the wild and in the canals, because I thought they caught that one in a canal.
They did, but I thought that canal was like part of the ocean.
They're all sea run browns down there. I mean, generally.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Unless they decide.
So how does a fish that lives out in the ocean and has an endless ocean to gorge itself in, the same fish that's swimming in the Asable River in Michigan, growing to be 10 inches long?
Yeah.
But speaking of world records, I think the potential is there to grow the world record yellow perch in my lake. Shags was with me on the barge when I had a perch. I caught a perch on a full-size spinnerbait.
Nice.
So my 6-inch perch are now 10-inch perch. I actually killed one accidentally. It swallowed a minnow. So I filleted one perch and just sauteed the 2 fillets in a little bit of butter and pepper.
Yeah.
Squeezed a little lemon over it and just nibbled those 2 fillets down to nothing. But man, they're good. Shags got to come out and experience the new barge and fish around the lake. And what's your take?
That pond's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, it is a lot of fun. Like we had some action early, often, and yeah, I went on a bit of a heater there and caught 4 and 5 casts.
He caught 4 bass and 5 casts off the same point. None of them under 2 pounds.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. I think they look like nice, healthy fish.
Yep. We skipped the whole letting them grow thing. We just went and got the big ones and brought them over.
Did you really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. The lake down at work is so overpopulated that at one point I went down there and I caught 40 in about 30 minutes. I mean, it's literally every cast. They're starving, and I bring them up here and take starving fish and give them a all you can eat buffet. They're gorging themselves. Lauren caught a 7-1 from another pond and moved it over in September, and she had it at the dock. She caught it the other day and had it next to the dock, and she says it's every bit of 10 pounds.
Oh hell yeah!
So we've got a double digit. We got a double digit in the lake already, and there was 3 more over 6 pounds that went in, so they're all probably 8-9 pounders now.
Sweet.
We didn't put anything in under 12 inches. Then put in 120 crappie over 10 inches. And then the bluegill, we were weighing bluegill. That's how big they are. We were weighing bluegill over a pound and they're all back in these beds. So it's
bluegill. Oh man.
Yeah. So we've got
that's awesome.
Hell of a fishery put together. And the thing is you got to eat those fish. That's the hard part, is you want to put every one of them back, but to maintain a healthy fishery, we got to harvest them. And eat them. So I can't wait to be forced to do fish fries out here.
Yeah, no shit. Especially the crappie and perch. Well, hell, the record perch was only just over 2 pounds, so you should be able to get there in a couple of years, huh?
I'm hoping, man. I'm going to put 500 perch in a year. That's the only thing I'm going to continue to stock. They're 50 cents each. I figure half of them will get eaten by bass, but
hey,
the other half will live. And if they're spawning, then we could have a nice fishery.
Cool.
Yeah, the state record all class is out of Bull Shoals. I believe it's a little over 2 pounds, but the alternative method is only 10 ounces. So I've already built all my jugs. I'm just gonna start jug fishing with minnows.
Yeah, right.
And I will have the alternative method state record yellow perch within the next 24 months.
You're gonna
That would be fun if you had every single state record for the yellow perch. That would be pretty entertaining.
you get a yellow perch that size on one of those jug lines, one of those bass are gonna eat that thing so fast. You didn't have a chance.
Well, we ready for the mystery bait bucket question?
Let's
Yep.
do it.
All right. If you're not familiar, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We like to wrap up each episode with what we call the mystery bait bucket. What I got here, you can see, is an actual antique bait bucket we got from the Midway Antique Mall. And listeners submit questions. Very rarely do they have anything to do with outdoors, but it's a fun way to wrap up a podcast. This one comes from Rob Cope asking, who was your earliest TV or movie crush?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know mine, like instantly.
Me too.
Phoebe Cates for you guys, probably.
Well, no, not that. I'm not that old.
Yep. Mine was Winnie from the Wonder Years.
Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I was in love with Winnie, man. Oh,
I had two. It was Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss,
yep.
Mm,
and then Punky Brewster.
Punky.
Oh, I had the biggest crush on Punky Brewster.
You've always liked the little weird. You've been.
Say what? Oh man.
If we're doing two, then I will say definitely Winnie from Wonder Years, and then Jennifer Love Hewitt from Party of was it Party of Five?
Party of Five, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
I think, and this is gonna be one like standard one, and it was Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Oh, that's a classic, yeah.
Yeah, because that was
What else is he in?
that was good.
The Pink Power Ranger.
Pink Power Ranger, yeah. But I think Topanga. But I remember. So Jaws is one of my favorite movies, right? Like ever. And I remember watching it when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. And I watched it from the beginning. It was like the first time I watched it from the beginning. And the beginning scene with Chrissy Watkins running out like nude into the water. I remember that's when I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And,
Who was the? You know who the actress was?
oh gosh, she just passed away last May.
It doesn't matter. So no is the answer. It's just the naked girl from Jaws.
Yeah. Her character's name is Chrissy Watkins, but yeah, I remember.
Was that the first? What movie? Can you name the movie? Then this my secondary mystery bait bucket question. What movie first exposed you to the naked female body?
Ooh,
Was it that one for you, Jaws?
probably, yeah. I mean, it's not even really Nate. You don't really say anything, but it's just heavily implied. But
But she's naked, and that did something for you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, 100%.
Mine was Daryl Hannah in Splash.
Oh yeah, Tom Hanks.
So, which maintains this weird thing for mermaids, man.
This is not Punky Brewster.
No, I mean it was. I remember watching that movie and wanting to watch it again real quick.
Yeah. What's your Shag?
Man, I can't even think about it. I grew up in such a strict like movie home. Like you weren't allowed to watch PG-13 movies until you were 13. Like the first rated R movie I watched was at a friend's house, and it was that stupid, scary Chud, that cannibalistic humanoid movie.
Never seen
It
it.
was some 80s horror flick where some billionaire was pouring toxic waste into the sewers and turning all the homeless people into cannibals that were coming up in the streets and eating each other. And I remember staying up all night. Like I was terrified. So I probably didn't see like a movie boob until I might have been in high school or something. It may have been Phoebe Cates.
Yeah.
These kids today will never know the value of a Playboy.
No.
The things that I got a Bowie knife one time for a Playboy. Like the things that I could trade on the black market at 12 for my dad's like surprisingly missing Playboys. Like he had to go back and be like, God damn it, he got another one.
Yeah. He's probably happy though.
Oh yeah.
You'd sneak into people's barns and be looking in boxes and stuff like that. Oh, my
Yeah.
brother will, oh, my mom will hate that I'm sharing this story. But in middle school, my brother and one of his buddies found a bunch of nudie mags, and they went to middle school and they were selling them. And
Yeah.
I gotta give him credit because he
Yeah.
wasn't selling the magazine. He was tearing out individual
No
pages
shit.
Yep.
and selling one page for $1 in
Mm.
like the 80s and was just racking it up. And yeah, he got busted, and mom had to go into school and have a talk because Noah was selling sheets, just one-offs out of the nudie mag.
These boys will never know the value of the bra and panty section of the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Dude,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I was just gonna say that, or the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues.
Mm. Oh, when they went to the body paint, that was a
Yeah,
hell of a
dude. Yeah,
move.
yeah, that was great.
All
Yeah.
right, well, this turned a little pervy here at the
We
end.
digress.
Bunch of old men talking about these kids nowadays don't know the value of a good porno magazine.
Playboy, it's tasteful. By today's standards, it's
Yes.
super tasteful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got a final cast of the pod. Milo, be sure to hit all your socials too, where people can find you and
Sure.
and check out your flies and all that stuff. Is just good seeing you, man. It's been a long
Yeah.
time. We gotta
Agreed.
get out on the water again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm more than happy to do some fishing this summer. Just let me know.
Well, I'll go first. I'm not gonna say that I'm mad at you, Milo. I'm just gonna say I'm disappointed. I wanna be able to say Captain Milo. You need to get that captain's license. Get the captain's license and start guiding, and eventually become the man down on Taneycomo.
I know. I just bought the course actually. This
Captain Milo has such a good ring to it.
Tuesday.
It does. I like it.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's more and more just working in the corporate world. It's just, you know, it pays well, but I just don't want to do it anyway. This is not what I like, you know. And it gets to a point where, you know, like screw it. What am I doing? Like I'm not that I'm like, you know, depressed or anything, but you know, yeah, don't take this as like
Sound very joyful.
yeah. But like, you know, it's just like, man, what am I doing going to the office every day, just doing shit for other people, and might as well do something for your own. So
Captain
cool.
Milo, there's the answer.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
kind of what I'm doing with the flies, you know, going full bore into that, and
It's definitely a step in the right direction, man.
you know, exactly. And I've actually
One foot in front of the other. Now get your captain's license.
I know it, make quite a bit of money. So
Where can people go to get flies from you?
yeah, Milo's Flies on Facebook, Instagram. It's just my name, Ryan Milo, 19, I think. You can email me at rmiloshewski@gmail.com. Make sure you put that in the show notes because nobody's going to know how the hell to spell it. Text me. Text my number, 314-799-8421. Really anything until I get the website going up. It should be up hopefully by early next week. And I have everything on there to where I got writing and then ability to buy products there. So
What's the website going to be?
Let me tell you, milosflies.com.
All right.
So yeah, I do anything custom. Big streamers. I like tying big articulated streamers. I can do scuds. I can do size 20 midges, hoppers, anything you want.
All right. Gear review coming up next. Brandon, into the podcast, the beginning of a gear review. What are you reviewing for us today?
Man, I'm excited about this one. This one is actually going to take a minute, but a long time coming is having a portable fish finder. So speaking of Harbor Freight, I went and got a nice Harbor Freight box today. This is all going to the Boundary Waters. I want to show you guys my rig here. Let me see if I can get this camera positioned a little better. So this is going to open up. Inside, I bought a very Chinese brand, cheap off Amazon, 12-volt battery. Then went with the Humminbird Piranha Max 4 with down imaging. Man, times have changed on things like this. This is $150. You know, this would have been, it's got the technology that could have launched a rocket back in the 1990s, and $150. So I've got that. And then I went and bought all these attachments. So Scotty is the brand. So there's all these pieces. I didn't get home from work in time, but this kind of shows you what this is. It's going to look like that. And then this will go right into this hole right here. And then it'll hang out and I can move it in front of me and out of the way. And then this mounts under here and goes on top of that. And it can just move in the boat. So now I have a system that I can use in my kayak, in my canoe, in this rented canoe in the Boundary Waters, but also in the raft. So, dude, we can now down image the Upper Current River and finally look into those holes, see how deep they are, get along those bluffs, check that out. I'm excited. I'm excited to have this portable system. So this whole system, $150 for the Humminbird. I've probably got another 60 to 75 in the whole system I put together here. The battery was 30 and the case was 30. So let's say I'm at, 150 plus 100, 250 for under $300. I've got all this put together. I'm also taking my Jackery into the Boundary Water so I can continue to charge my battery. Even though Scott said if we're, kind of judicious with the amount of time you use it, you could probably last the whole trip. But yeah, so I'm really, really excited about this portable fish finder build I'm working on.
Man, that's awesome. Well, for mine, it's actually my birthday gift. I know I posted it on my personal page and even the morning shag page. I'll have to put it up on the Driftwood page as well and on Instagram. But my putting green, 10 foot by 5 foot putting green with not one, not two, but thrice holes, 3 different putting surfaces. And I mean, I'm never going to miss another putt again. That's all I've been doing is practicing my putts, because if I can't count on my driver or some long irons, at least I can be counted on to make some putts. So shout out to Savannah for the amazing birthday gift. And yeah, it looks super cool just in the middle of our house.
Shout out to both of you for being cool enough to live your whole life like you're teenagers in your first house. Like, I mean, look at your fishing display in one room. She's got a dragon living in another room. Now your family room is part of a golf course.
Yep.
You've got couches stacked up in there like you would in a frat house. So everybody's always comfortable. There's
Nothing
no
catches.
like worrying about getting the comfortable place to sit at Shags and Savannah. Like their whole life is built in the way that you would live your life if you just wanted to live your life the way you want to live your life.
Hell yeah.
So now you can putt while messing with your antique lure collection at the same time.
Love it. Yep.
It's super cool. It's so cool.
That is cool.
Have you been out golfing since you got it?
No, yeah. I mean, I went out Friday with Flanner. I told you that because we were fishing with you on Saturday. Did not play very well for a
That's
two-man
right.
scramble. I mean, it was still okay. I think we shot an 85, which isn't the worst. But when you have two guys, you can't be getting double bogeys
Mm-mm.
playing a two-man scramble.
Nope.
So,
Gotta hit the
but we
nail.
had a couple of decent holes, so there was some things.
All right. Well,
Cool.
I guess that's enough for today. We will see you down the trail.